My name is Elsie Oyoo. I'm Kenyan. Right now I'm studying in Rome, doing a second degree. I did my first degree in Kenya in the University of Nairobi. And well, I come from a family of 5 children and I'm the last born. Saint Pope John Paul II first announced this new evangelization, and it was picked up by Benedict XVI. And again, in his The Joy of the Gospel, Pope Francis has asked us to go out and tell people, although they've been living in an ancient Christian culture, sometimes some people have forgotten what this is. So of course, it falls to us to give the joy of the gospel to everyone we meet. I don't think I can demarcate that this is my apostolate and this is my life. Of course, there's some big activities that you'd organize, like to promote the family or to promote some point of doctrine. But basically, whoever I meet, I try to make friends with them, try to be nice to them, being myself. And then if they're open to it, I'll talk to them about our Lord. And if they're not, at least we have some points in common on a human basis. Well, I think the first and most important thing is the impact of St. John Paul II on me, because he spoke about the feminine genius in many of his documents, and for example, in his letter to women. And that feminine genius, it made me realize my dignity. It made me realize who I am, and it's true. I always wanted equality with my brothers, and I always wanted to, if my brother punched, I wanted to punch harder. But then I realized that it's not just a matter of being identical. It's something greater than that. It's based on the fact that we're children of God. And so I can be myself, I can fulfill myself without negating my identity. And for me, that's really important. And I think I've tried to pass that on to my friends, and embracing our femininity, and that goes to many other fields. That even helps the family. We're in the year of the family. That helps the family, accepting with joy and love all the children that God gives them, trying to give themselves to their husbands and children. I think that's beautiful, trying to fight for what they think is going to give them fulfillment and happiness, and that's embracing their femininity. Well, when I think about the people in the Middle East and I think about all the other people who have to suffer, the first Christians, I wouldn't think that I have suffered as such. But of course, the little jibes that people throw at you or whatever. For example, when I was in university, of course, when people knew that, oh, this girl goes to mass every day, or, they start calling you holy, holy, or what is it? What do you want to become? And then, you feel a bit excluded. So I wouldn't call that, suffering at an objective level, but it does leave you a bit uncomfortable. But then I think sooner or later, we develop some form of respect for each other. And even if they don't get to understand exactly what the faith is and what the gospel is, at least we respect each other. So with perseverance, all those are overcome. And of course, with God's grace. It's worth making an effort to speak about Jesus Christ because he gives meaning to our lives. He gives light to our lives. He is the Lord of our hearts. So of course, it's worth risking everything, okay, on human terms, everything, to speak about him, because he opens up, well, okay, I won't quote which Vatican II document, but one of the Vatican II documents says, I think it's Gaudium et Spes, that Christ reveals man to man. So he's like that key that unlocks all those things that we wanted to really know about ourselves. Why isn't this working? He is the one who gives us that meaning. So it's worthwhile. Well, I was baptized Catholic when I was probably very young, months old, and my mom was very Catholic. My mom was very Catholic. Of course, I come from Kenya, so we have we have Anglicans, we have Presbyterians. My dad was Anglican, but my mom baptized as Catholic. But then, of course, I was rather complacent. Though she'd encourage me. I remember when I was in primary school, she was like, Elsie, why aren't you going to church? Okay, Elsie, join the youth group. Elsie, do all this. So I owe it to her, because when I was feeling a bit weak, she was always there to encourage me and to push me on. And then, of course, I went to Catholic schools all through my life. And so with the formation I received there, with the teaching I received there, I was able to grow slowly by slowly, and I think at some point when I was about 16, it just clicked. And okay, I think by now you know that St. John Paul II is my hero. It started with reading his letter to the youth, I think of 1986, and that just opened up horizons for me. You know, he's like, you can't say no to our Lord, open up your hearts, and that just touched me. Well, I think that faith is the greatest gift, it's the greatest treasure that we could ever have. Of course, it's a grace, but then at the same time, it's our response to our Lord. And so we need to make an effort, but then we need to pray for that faith. And it's not something that would make your life boring or something that would make your life, I don't know, would put limitations on your freedom. In fact, it gives you the greatest freedom ever. So I would just encourage anyone who doesn't have faith to keep looking for it, to keep searching for our Lord, searching for the truth with an upright heart, and for sure, in some way or other, that our Lord will help them to get that faith, or to get it back. Of course, there's hope. There's always hope, because man opens out to, he's made for happiness. Man is made for happiness, and we're not happy with anything less than that. We want big things, and so even if we make mistakes, and actually, okay, mistakes, that's even being naive. Even if we do very bad things, there's always a way open to go back. And I think because of that capacity of man to seek his happiness and to look for the truth, to look for the good, there will always be hope for the world. There's always be hope. And of course, our Lord tells us that he's on our side. So if he's with us, who can be against us? Well, from Christ himself. From Christ himself, because he is, as I said, he's the master of history, he's the master of our hearts. And just looking at him on the cross, and also talking to him and dealing with him, that gives you strength. And then, of course, at the human level, being surrounded by people who are encouraging, family. I had said family before, so family is very important because it gives you your identity. Who am I? And then friends who support you, and with that, I can go forth and go into the fray and try my best, do my work, make friends, and then come back home again the next day, and like that.
If you would like to participate in the next program of Cast Out Your Nets, sharing your testimony of apostolate and evangelization, visit our website at www.eukmommy.org for more information.